Okay, Johnson is absent with notice. Wiper.
Here.
Markham.
Here.
Miller is absent with notice. Rahman is absent with notice. Long.
Here.
Spiz is absent with notice. Woodward.
Here.
Smith Charles.
Present.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You have a quorum.
Excellent, thank you. And I believe there's a motion coming forth that I'm happy to entertain.
Madam Chair, I will move to add 2 items to the agenda. One is to go to closed session to discuss lease or purchase of property as one additional item, and a second to approve the assignment of a purchase agreement for property in Pontiac with the Farbman Group. That's the second item.
Okay.
So I'll make that motion.
Support.
Moved and supported. Discussion. We can, once you're ready, we can prompt the vote.
Did you get some good pictures?
Yes. Oh, through the window, you know, so. And I was over 2 people. Okay.
Just want you to
I
remember.
just see 3. Are they, is IJ and Johnson on my?
They're going to be in the closed session meeting specifically for that.
Oh, it's a different one. Oh. You see all 3 right there by the double people.
You have 5 yeas, 0 nays for that motion.
Okay.
So we're going.
Excellent. And so that is great. We've added a couple pieces there to the agenda, and now that motion passed, we voted. I will now entertain a motion to go into closed session for the purpose of considering the purchase or lease of property and
Actually, just that.
okay. So for the purpose of considering the purchase or lease of property. Can I get a person to,
I'll move that. Or second, if you're moving it, I'll second. Are you moving it?
that's fine,
Okay.
move to support it. And a roll call vote, or I should say prompt the vote.
You have 5 yeas and 0 nays.
Great, that motion carries. We are in close and takes us about
What's that,
65 any noises.
Yeah, we're back.
And
Yeah.
I declare open session at 5:44 p.m.
I declare the meeting is in open session at 5:45 p.m. Right, so, Mr. Chair.
Good. So I will make a motion to proceed as discussed in closed session.
Supported by Markham.
Are we doing this then before the minute approval or what are we doing?
Yeah, we'll do the minutes once, I guess. Let's do this and then it'll be captured in the minutes.
Woodward and Markham will proceed as
It's all wrapped up still.
Okay.
Brand new. Fresh off the printer.
everyone got through? You have 5 yeas and 0 nays.
Okay, thank you. That motion carries. I'll entertain a motion to approve the open session minutes and closed session minutes from May 5th.
I'll move it.
This is long moves and Mr. Wyper supports.
I support
And discussion?
No.
Let's prompt the vote.
Yeah, 5 yeas and 0 nays.
Thank you. That motion carries. Excellent. Do I have any other motions on the floor?
We'll just move us to the next item,
Oh, okay.
But we still have to do the other one, so.
Yeah, that's what we're talking about.
Okay,
To take us to the next item, the approval
yeah,
of the assignment to purchase
It's the second item though he has.
that we have.
Right. He did it first this time. In your notes?
No, we've covered the notes.
We covered the closed session stuff and now this is the,
The second of the initial motion he made at the beginning.
Oh, okay, okay.
yeah,
So
we did the
to
minutes in
approve
between them.
To approve assignment of purchase agreement.
Yes,
Yes.
to assignment of purchase agreement.
All right, who's going to kick us off?
I'll make the motion.
Yes, thank you.
Is there a second?
I'll second it.
Okay.
It's on table.
Now the guy at the end, the
Thank
people
you.
at the end of the table.
Okay, well, we'll try to give a little bit of recap. We were here a couple of weeks ago, we were given authority with the ability to negotiate a purchase agreement. We've been working with Farbman Group, has been working with the seller to make that happen. And we do have a signed purchase agreement today, but I just want to give you a little bit of rundown as what has happened since we last had the conversation. So there was an agreed upon purchase price between Farbman Group and the seller for $19.2 million. The agreement includes a 60-day due diligence period in which the county will fully evaluate the property and work work with the legislature and Governor Whitmer's administration to also look for securing additional funds for this transformational project in downtown Pontiac. And at any time, and then we do have the 60-day due diligence period, but we're also looking, we've got a couple of appraisals that we need to get, surveys that need to be done, and there's a lot of work, environmental standards and reports, brownfield reports that need to be done as well. And then, and so why don't you go ahead and add, I know you've been involved with the seller at that point in time, and we have the purchase agreement here as well that we can pass around with the assignment, so if you want.
Yeah, I think you did a great job of talking about it at a high level. Those are the big points to it. The due diligence period will cover a lot of items and, we'll look at the financial well-being of these properties, the operating expenses, the capital improvements. We'll work on the title work, the environmentals. it'll, every property will get a full and thorough evaluation on your behalf.
Yeah, and as we talked about before, this is what we believe is a transformational project. The timing is great from a county's perspective because we are going through a capital improvement project. And there's a lot of capital improvements that need to take place across this campus. We have a lot of buildings, some buildings that are 100+ years old. So the opportunity for us to look for an opportunity to move some of our personnel into downtown Pontiac is a great opportunity. Also, we know that the Whitmer administration, as recent as February 28th, announced over $100 million, $200 million investment in Taylor, Wyandotte, Muskegon, Flint, Marquette, Alpena, in different cities across the state in regards to investing in urban renewal. And this project, it fits that description. So it's really important for us. We appreciate the sense of urgency a couple of weeks ago to engage in these negotiations. But we think we're at a great opportunity to invest in Pontiac. There's been a disinvestment in Pontiac since the 90s. They were 72,000 in population, down to 60,000 in population. And we think a project like this in the southern part of the downtown will have a unique opportunity to breathe life into that. So I'm probably saying more about Pontiac. We do have the mayor here if you want to come up and say a few things as well, because it certainly is about real estate, but it's bigger than real estate. This is a project that's bigger than just real estate. We have a unique opportunity to make a strategic investment here.
Well, thank you, Sean. That's exactly right. This is about a lot more than a real estate deal. This is really about making Pontiac whole again. It's about reconnecting the downtown that's been bifurcated by this parking structure for many decades now. It's about really making sure that the county seat is rooted in part in our downtown as it once was many decades ago. And so part of this is about ensuring that the county is represented in the heart of our downtown as we try to make sure that Pontiac reclaims its place as the heart of Oakland County. And so this is really about bringing the downtown back together again. It's about making sure that the county is properly claiming downtown as the core of Pontiac, but it's also about really rallying the community around a transformational process that will reignite vibrancy in Pontiac's downtown, as we've seen in so many other downtowns across the county. So we're really excited about this. It really is a truly transformational opportunity that I believe will benefit both the city and the county.
And what I think, if it's okay, if we maybe set some of these renderings up off to the side, just so that if it's okay, I know it may not be as conventional,
We're gonna
but
try to make sure that everyone sees.
yeah.
We'll start here and then to commissioners who.
Do you wanna just stick them off to the side here, and folks can see?
Sure. While you decide that logistically, I just want to do two housekeeping matters, which is first to identify who caller one is. If you just could state your name so we can identify you.
You, Brendan?
Is that you, Brendan? I was going to text you.
Hi, yeah, it's me. I'm sorry.
Oh, no, it's no worries. Thank you. And please tell us where
Couldn't figure out the
please tell us where you're joining from, Commissioner.
248-82-8335.
Where are you? What community?
I'm sorry. I am in Lansing, Michigan.
Thank you. Commissioner Rahman, could you let us know where you're joining us from?
Yep, joining from Novi, Michigan.
Okay, perfect. Thank you both.
Yeah, earlier.
Commissioner Marco.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I just, while they're setting up and everything, I just want to make a point. Commissioner Wyford and I today had the opportunity to view the project of the Gordie Howe Bridge, which was awesome. But what really struck me in that tour, and I think it applies here, is like through the whole thing, they're talking about, oh, we're gonna do this over here, and it is that way because community told us that's what they wanted. And we went another quarter of a mile and, oh, we're doing this with this because that's what the community wanted. I mean, I don't know if you felt like that, but that was a real impression I got from that tour was they went, and I know we knew this because it was going on and there was a lot of publicity about making sure they didn't stomp all over Del Rey down there, but I really hope you do that. I hope you engage the community like more than you probably should, you know, as this planning is getting done, because it really seemed to have a good effect on that project. And I think we all know the more you talk to the people who have to live around it, the better it is. So I just would encourage you to do that.
Thank you, Commissioner.
I completely agree from the city's perspective anyway, and so yes, we're committed to doing that.
Thank you.
I can tell you as well that since I took office, we've had over 30 town halls and listening sessions on a wide array of topics, and so we're certainly gonna continue that emphasis, including in the context of this.
And then, Andy, do you wanna just share kind of from right to left? And I don't know if the commissioners wanna get up and see them, but what renderings that you do have there?
Absolutely.
Move to the other side. I'm gonna move to the other side of the table. You can do it. The cameras capture most of it.
Okay. You want me to start down there?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, just so everybody has an idea of what they're,
Let me know if I'm supposed to hold this up in a particular way to the
Yeah, I know.
camera.
So Chris isn't in my way.
Okay.
Okay, sorry.
You're good now?
So-
Tell me, I'll move back and
No,
forth.
you're fine.
So this first rendering that we have, and again, these are very conceptual, they're, you know, there's a lot to be fleshed out, and to your point, engagement to be had in order to do anything, but what it really is showcasing is the projects from the top down as they are today, the envisioning of the streets being opened up again and allowing for that traffic. And it just shows you the buildings involved in the transaction and the land involved in that.
What's the blue? Is that the Phoenix Center? Are you a buyer? No, I'm wrong, right?
Yeah, so I'm sorry, there's two here that are potentially redevelopment plots.
Okay,
So
it's
it's,
not Phoenix
yeah.
Center though there.
Yeah, so
we're
Phoenix
doing
Center will actually, this is a post-down Phoenix Center.
Okay,
Assuming that we are able to do that.
okay, and then it opens the street up.
And then it opens the
Okay.
street up, absolutely.
it.
And I don't know if anyone couldn't see that or needs to, a little bit more on that.
probably the first drawing we should have started with is the one right next to
Yeah,
it, which
you can see that's where
is
you're
the
open.
present sense, you
Yes.
know, it's
Blocking.
it's current what it is today, and you can
Yes.
see
Yeah.
how big that
How many, Glenn, am I good?
No, you're
that Phoenix Center is. And so what we're talking about here, and one of the things that we have to do during the due diligence is we're talking about the Phoenix Center, the Ottawa building, and then the building on East Judson, the former GM building. But there is also some adjacent properties as well. So one of the things that we need to verify, we're talking about 10 to 12 acres possibly, could
In total.
possibly, but
Yeah, between the
in
buildings
total.
and the acreage that we're getting.
But the Phoenix the Phoenix Place apartments will stay.
Yeah, that's not part of the project.
Okay.
Yeah, you're right.
That's right. So you can see the big footprint of the Phoenix Center that could be
No, that
opened
was the
up.
weirdest spot to put that in the
Anyone
beginning.
else have any questions on this one? I'll
So
leave it up there.
weird.
Feel a little like Vanaway.
Yeah, the next letter, please.
Yes.
I want to teach this in colleges, you know, in
Yeah.
higher level planning, how this failed, because of course people loved it when it was being planned, but it didn't work.
So this gives you an idea of where
Glenn,
the
you
existing
good?
buildings are. Woodward, Judson, some of the footprint of what was the Phoenix Center with potential redevelopment of those buildings. It doesn't say what it is because I think that's where you start to get the input on that. Some green space that comes into play in this.
And it's not for sure, but where is the potential place for the new parking garage if that was put in?
Yeah, so right now, we've got it down right by the Judson and actually potentially straight into the Judson, but it would be able to service that area. It's a placeholder for now. We thought that's where it's best placed, but I think time will, determine whether that's the best location for it. So it's, right down there. And at this point, we're showing it with a walkway to Judson for the employees that would be down there, but able to service the area.
I wanna turn my camera around so that Ajay could see it just for a moment.
Absolutely. Do you want me to,
No, you don't have to stop for me.
okay, do you want me to set that down so I'm
Yeah.
not shaky while you're doing
That's
that? I want the commissioner to have issues with sight because of me.
And the next rendering you have there is,
Going this way now.
That's right. So the next rendering gives you kind of a reimagined walking area between the buildings, potential retail on the first floor of the Judson, because with the employees that would come in there, they would have a need for retail. And just gives you an idea of, you know, the opening of it, some outdoor seating perhaps, an idea of what the area could be right outside there, but more of an idea of the, you know, potential impact on retail in the area and the building itself.
So it's the Judson building that we're thinking of turning into the county building?
yes.
That's correct.
Yeah, that's good. Still secret. I'm still secret.
And again, these are, like I said, these are just renderings. This is just where we're at, is a very preliminary divisioning.
This one gives you an idea again of the opening of the roads again. In this one, we imagined some kind of retail development that could come up on one of the parcels adjacent to the Judson building, and some park area that I think we've got a long way to go in fulfilling what its potential could be. But it just wanted to give an idea of, you know, we could have food trucks and other things that could be servicing that area and really open it up, like some cities have done with major parks, to allow it to be a really good community use.
Oh, I like the little logo ad right there.
Yeah,
And if you continue up Saginaw, that's where you hit to the downtown,
that's right.
where it may exist.
And that would be part of the request here is reconnecting that road. That is part of the reinvestment that we're looking for from the state.
That's right, yeah, and I met with the state today, as I know some of you know, and had this conversation with the state budget director, which I thought went very well, so.
And then, of course, the last one,
Closer view.
just giving you another viewpoint of the area from a different angle. Still the Judson in that area, shows the parking garage potentially behind it. Potential new commercial development and again, use of the
Comment.
park space as well as, you know, an opening for things like food
And
trucks.
the Ottawa building is on this side, right? It's almost as if you're looking out a window in the Ottawa building.
That's exactly right, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and the Ottawa, we didn't place the Ottawa in many of these mostly because it is an already 65-70% occupied building, so we thought it's already in use. Any questions? Anyone want me to hold this up again?
Yes, Commissioner
So-
Long.
Okay, so I have a comment. I think I make this once in a while when we're doing a new project. So I'm an alumni of the great Michigan State University, and I think I've told this if you've been here a while, but what they did before they did the sidewalks is, and you might know that if you went there, I don't know, this is a long time ago. But before they did the sidewalks, they let the students walk and the paths were made. I don't think it's a bad idea for this new development. To not jump on the sidewalks and then see where they need to go. Because that really worked at Michigan State. They let, you know, I think, did you hear that before? That's where they got all their sidewalks, is they let, what way are people gonna cut through? That's why that one going to the, that big math hall, what is that? I don't know, but that's why that's kinda on an angle, cause that's the way people walked.
Yeah.
Not a bad idea for a new project, I don't think, and for you in future,
No, that's a really
in
good.
Pontiac, because you're gonna put a sidewalk and no one's gonna walk on it, see where they cut, they're gonna cut on an angle, make your sidewalk on an angle, and then do the shrubs around it. It doesn't have to be a straight sidewalk, but I think that's I think that was smart they did that. And if this is gonna be a big project, I don't think that would be bad in future for your Pontiac projects also. So,
That's a really good point.
yeah, I mean, so you can go without a sidewalk for a while, you know, you'll see your path within very quick, I'm sure, of where people are walking. But just for future things, I think that was a good idea. It worked, the sidewalks are where they're supposed to be, so that's my comment.
Anything from Commissioner Weipert or Markham?
I like park space. And when you said 10 to 12 acres, bells were going off in my head. So And Pontiac, we're trying to increase your available green space and park space and all that. So, yeah, anything you can do to really elevate that, and let's be as sustainable and everything that we can. So that's my take on it.
We wanna,
Yeah, you want, we'll pass this around.
Lunch at the park.
How about this, Sandy? Do you wanna, I'm gonna leave these.
Yeah,
Just
yeah,
walk
through
out
there,
of your
yeah.
office and
Can we get a motion, do we have these, a digital version of these photos?
well, I think there's still some work to do. We just felt like we wanted to share them here today. I think they're still kind of a little bit in draft form, so I
Can we make
mean,
them super draft form? I just wanna make sure that, I mean, particularly Ajay and Brendan who aren't
Okay.
able to hear it, that
Yeah.
we can just like, we can label like very preliminary draft for visualization exercises only.
yeah,
You can smell them.
But just,
Yeah.
but just to have, okay.
right, okay.
I know, like.
Like,
All right.
I
So I'm
mean,
gonna go.
motion received with file.
It's like
I think it makes you buzz or something, no, I'm just kidding.
I think it reminds you of your childhood.
Yeah.
Open toys.
Just attach it to it.
Other
Purchase agreement. So let's see. Oh, okay. Gotta move it for now.
Hi.
So this is.
It's okay. Thank you.
It's for you, that's the purchase agreement. Well, thank you.
Thank you. So this is the whole agreement here, then?
Yeah, so we've handed out two documents. One is the assignment document that will assign it to the county.
Small
Okay,
document.
that's
Yeah, very
assignment,
small,
okay.
yeah. The other is the actual purchase.
Oh, just thank you.
Mr. Mayor.
Sure, yeah. You got it.
Oh, this is kind of what we were waiting for, Dave, huh? Today. Got this done.
So any highlights, and I provided some highlights of the purchase agreement, but is there anything that you wanna draw any attention to?
Well, and I think it'd be helpful just in terms, because, so we haven't, Oakland County hasn't purchased a parcel in a very long time. So we have a purchase policy that we've been operating. I think Mr. Patterson was last updated it, Commissioner Patterson, if you remember Commissioner Patterson. I
Yes.
think you and I are the only ones.
Yes.
So you remember
I do.
Commissioner Patterson.
Yes.
When we updated that policy. But in effect, it lays out some requirements and like the letter of interest authorized by this committee and the ability to enter into a purchase agreement, in this case, an assignment of the purchase agreement because we worked through Fardman to get the purchase agreement. It also requires, on our due diligence before we can move forward is appraisals, either two appraisals or a report if we do things internally in equalization, environmental assessments, and then all the other appropriate due diligence that this committee, the board as a whole, the administration needs to have done to be able to make this project.
Can I interrupt you quick? It needs two appraisals for all these parcels.
The way our policy is written
These two.
it's either two appraisals or a report done in conjunction with our equalization. So we
Okay.
do outside appraisals or we pull in the expertise that's
Okay.
needed. But a report, at the end of the day, a written document that
Says it's what
demonstrates,
this, or-
yeah. And then
Okay.
any action that we have, I mean, it puts requirements on how we need to move forward accordingly. So that's, I mean, the reason to, and I really am genuinely appreciative of everyone who adjusted their schedule on the fly in order to do this, because we had a purchase agreement signed today that allows us to move forward so that we can be talking much more openly about this and engaging in partners of the state and other places, and that's necessary to do that. And so that's what we're engaging in right now. And so I think the motion on the floor is the assignment of, purchase agreement piece. Attached to that, this is the purchase agreement that Fardman's issued with the seller.
Okay.
And the blanks, excuse me, the blanks at the top, are we to just correlate that with the A through F? I believe it's F, on the assignment doc where it says purchaser and there's several blanks.
Yeah, the blanks that will be filled in as to the correct entity that we assign this to, and we wanna make sure we get that right, so it's not signed yet, it's blank for your legal counsel to tell us. And make
Okay.
sure we get that right when you're ready to sign that.
Thank you.
Are these our copies now? Is that good for us to keep
Yeah.
or no?
Yeah, we're good with that.
We're good, 'cause we're open.
There is
do you have-
currently a functioning garage
There is.
underneath the Phoenix Center, which will no longer exist.
Functioning.
Yeah.
That's-
Yeah, that's just bizarre.
Well,
I
that's
mean,
kind of my
Do
question.
you have
Yeah.
employees that are in the Ottawa Tower that are using
That's right,
that parking structure?
That's right.
Yeah.
But it's in tough shape, I think it's
Right.
fair to say.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, there are parts of it
It's
that are
old.
usable, but
But that's something that as you put the project together, it has to fit in the right place.
Yes.
When is the parking available?
In phases and.
Yeah, and 'cause we're gonna-
Right.
Take away all the parking.
So to reiterate, the place we're in at this very moment is these two sets of documents do leave with the individual commissioners, or you need them
Yeah.
back?
Yep,
Yeah.
no, this is
Okay.
open meeting,
That's what I asked.
this is the thing.
Yeah,
Perfect.
that was so secret.
And there's an opportunity for questions after the fact, or we are, okay. And then-
You know,
Yeah.
because I'm
No,
gonna
well,
read it.
so again, the due
Bring it home
diligence
and read,
period,
that's what I was asking.
so the 60 days, which starts today, right? I mean, this is day one of the 60 days.
Once the Farman Group, if we get the go-ahead, the Farman Group will execute and we will have a fully executed purchase agreement and the 60 days will begin at that point in time.
Okay.
So if we're approving to move forward with the assignment, then they will sign that agreement and then you're giving the authority for signature for the assignment to take place. Does that make sense?
Yes.
And if, I mean, in that due diligence, and there's issues that, I mean, this board, this body, working with the executive office
Right.
will, I mean, entertain and address those issues. But there's a lot, I mean, I think there's gonna be a lot of conversations,
A lot of
a
work.
planning, there's a lot of work, and this is this is an accelerated timetable. I mean, normally, it would be even longer probably. But, I mean, we are a unique opportunity to seize this, and I mean, we're gonna hit this, which means, like, all of our due diligence and everything, we don't have to like land on a date, but I mean, working with the chair to make sure that when we approach day 50,
Right,
that,
that's-
I mean, we're not waiting to day 59. We
Right.
don't wanna ever do this again. That we can, I mean, again, have appropriate deliberation, if there's any, a companion resolution, the appropriation of any funds, I mean, to move forward, all that has to happen in that 60-day due diligence period.
And you pointed out in regards to your policy that from a due diligence, from a board policy perspective, it's the two properly licensed and qualified real estate appraisers, which is of course part of the due diligence, but there's a lot of other things in the due diligence in addition to that, but that's just meeting your standard.
And the environmental assessment, that's
Right.
also part of which, I mean,
Right.
it follows that policy.
Yeah, the way these commercial buildings are sitting, I think there should be ample qualified real estate appraisers in the commercial space to help make that happen. So I do wanna check, I'm calling in my clerk for today, to reiterate, just we wanted to clarify one aspect.
Just wanted to make sure on the motion, it's a committee approval only, or are we recommending to board the
It's
approval?
committee approval.
Committee approval, okay.
Right. So, if all hearts and minds are clear at this point, we can call for the vote for the motion that we have on the floor. Looks like so prompt the vote.
Yep. These nails don't push my save.
Yeah, 5 yeas, 0 nays.
That motion carries. Congratulations, everyone.
Thank you.
Right, so, and then I think, I mean, just going forward, Madam Chair, is like how this committee wants to formally engage with the executive office and any other, parties. whether it's regular updates and committees or what have you. I think the coming
That's a
weeks
good
we figure
idea.
that out, but we got 60
Yeah,
days.
so it doesn't
You
get-
two, you can figure out how to do that.
Yeah.
And maybe outside of the regular, maybe, I don't know,
Yeah.
it's up to you, just because they're, whatever works.
But now, I mean, at this point,
Exciting.
we can talk about this. I will be reaching out to all of you to engage your respective elected leaders to hopefully support state funding to help this project be a success. And
You can
thank
call
you,
it.
Ajay and Brendan for able to join virtually.
Yeah. All right.
Thanks for letting us. Congratulations, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Dave, you can call ours.
I don't even care if it's on camera. Retiring.
If there's,
I don't even care if it's on camera, you can call ours.
Yeah, some of them we won't.
so if there's no other business to come before this committee, I will.
Shut off your iPads.
And call this meeting adjourned.
Shut off your iPads for him, he's overtime.
6:15.